Recording started.
Okay, this looks all right. I can hear myself, so we're up and running. All right, it's Wednesday, the 14th of December, 2022, and I've just spent an hour in the Mile Castle, which is the local Wetherspoons bar here, one of them, with a cup of coffee and a pad, working out my workflow into like the signal chain of what's going on the other laptop. It's not this system, it's the other system that I use in the kitchen. But it's useful to just do a flow diagram of what inputs are going in and what outputs are going out and all of that stuff. I find it quite useful. I'll share it on the radio show on Saturday probably. It gives me about 10 minutes of content just because it's taken me 3 months to work out exactly how I want to do what I want to do. And I've had to buy 2 virtual cables with Voicemeeter to be able to do it. But it separates the inputs on the laptop to the extent that I can adjust the volume on Voicemeeter. I'm using Voicemeeter Banana with the Rodecaster Pro going in on hardware input 1, and then a virtual cable with Skype and WavePad on hardware input 2, and a virtual cable with Spotify and Virtual DJ on hardware input 3. And then everything else from the laptop goes in on Voicemeeter aux, which is the second virtual input. So that's the first 5 inputs. There are only 5 inputs on Voicemeeter Banana, but that's 4 out of 5 that are in use. That's the and then the output is back into the Rodecaster Pro 2, where I do my processing. I don't really need to put the Rodecaster Pro 2 on hardware input 1, so I might change that because I don't really need to do that. It's an easy way for me to see what's happening, as well as the actual physical hardware unit, which shows me what's happening. It's good just to have that on the laptop as well at the same time. So, but I don't really need it, so I can use that hardware input 1 for something else. And then I've got channels on the Rodecaster for the input from Voicemeeter, which goes into channel 3. So I've got a mic on channel 1, a mic on channel 2. The input from the PC goes in on channel 3. Then I've got the smart pads on channel 4, Bluetooth on channel 5, and channel 6 has got the chat channel, but I don't really use it because I just use the main input and send it out again. But it could be Skype on there. I haven't figured out how to configure that yet, so I'm just that it's a spare channel ultimately. But I'm using 5, so I'm using 4 inputs on Voicemeeter and then 5 inputs on the Rodecaster Pro 2 to do what I want to do. I don't use everything all at once, but it gives me a way of moving backwards and forwards and adjusting volumes to take out echo and stuff like that, because it does have a tendency to echo a little bit. And the outputs into Podbean and into Skype, I do a screen share of Voicemeeter. So actually I do need that Rodecaster Pro 2 input, because otherwise I wouldn't have my mic on there. So I need it, unless I find a way to put the mic in some other way. I could use a USB mic, I suppose, if I had to, but I do need it on there because I'm screen sharing the Voicemeeter Banana as my input to Skype, and Podbean just picks up whatever's going on from the laptop, so that's okay. Most of the time it does anyway. Some of the time it doesn't. but most of the time it does. So that's the setup that I use for the music show, which is Monday to Friday on the Hawk's Nest on Revolution Radio, and it goes out on Podbean as well. So that's Skype. Input goes to the Hawk's Nest, and then Podbean's in the browser, so that picks up whatever's going on the system automatically. So that's how I've got it set up. It means that I can add things in because I've got spare channels, or I can double up on the channels. And it just means I can add, if I want to bring in something else as another application, I can bring it in on Voicemeeter Vio or on the Voicemeeter Aux channel. And it saves the complications of trying to work out where it's going to go from there. It has to be there to go out on Skype, though, if I want it to go out on Skype to the Hawk's Nest. So that's what I was working out. So I'd simplified everything in my head because I know what works now. I know what works to get a reasonable sound on the Hawk's Nest is quite tricky. And there's still a little bit of echo on there. It does tend to have a little bit of reverb and a little bit of echo on there, but I haven't figured out how to get rid of that yet. I will figure it out, but I haven't so far. It's not noticeable on the actual output, but I can hear it in my headphones. And I think it's because that Rodecaster channel is going in and out, and it's feedback from there. So I need to figure that out. If I use the chat and just put a microphone in on the chat channel, that would work. And then everything else goes out. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It works for the time being, and it takes me ages to get everything set up properly. So I'm settling for this as a reasonable system because it's taken me 3 months to work it out, and I'm probably making things overly complicated. But this is the way that it's settled, because I want to use Voicemeeter and I want to use the Rodecaster Pro 2 because I can do digital audio processing on the Rodecaster Pro 2, and it keeps it away from the laptop, which means the laptop can concentrate on what it has to do. So that's how that works for me anyway. So if that's any use to anybody, then take it and use it for what it's worth. And I'm probably going to repeat that and simplify it for the Saturday show. But that's enough for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again later today, probably.